Coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Sanders and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. The municipal election is only a few weeks away, and candidates in Ward 4 recently participated in a community debate. Reporter Justin Prince has the story.
It's election time across the city, which means it's debate season. More than 200 Windsorites packed into the Walkerville Brewery for the Ward 4 All Candidates debate September 21st. All 6 candidates, Remy Bobo, Brian Kaza, Adriano Ciatoli, Victoria Cross, Chris Holt, and Howard Weeks, took part in the debate held by the Windsor Philosophical Arts Association. The debate topics range from the proposed mega hospital to homelessness to arts and culture. Bobo, the current executive director of the Rose City Islamic Center, says she was impressed by the turnout.
I was really impressed by the number of people that came out, by the number of citizens that are engaged in this municipal election. It's huge. I think it's fascinating that more than 200 people showed up to a municipal debate in Windsor. I think that's unprecedented, and I'm so happy to be running here and to be working to represent these people here.
Current Ward 4 Councilor Alan Halberstadt also took part in some capacity. Halberstadt, who is not running for re-election, had 2 questions presented to the candidates, one of them involving the controversial Auditor General position. Halberstadt says although he's not publicly endorsing any certain candidate, he was impressed by what he heard from all of them.
I was very overjoyed by the resounding answer with regard to bringing back the Auditor General, as there are some politicians, obviously not in this ward, who don't want to bring back the Auditor General. They want to go with the status quo, which really is not doing a very good job of auditing what the city does.
With 6 strong candidates in Ward 4, the question is, who will the community choose to represent their ward come October 27th? For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Prince.
Recently, nearly 500 residents took part in this year's 10th annual ALS Walk on the Ganacho Trail in Windsor. Taylor Bush reports.
Many Canadians know of ALS thanks to this summer's Ice Bucket Challenge, but efforts to gain more awareness are still in full swing. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is a rapidly progressive neuromuscular disease. It attacks every part of the body except the mind. ALS Canada says every day nearly 3,000 Canadians are treated for it and 0.1% die from it. Unlike cancer or other neurodegenerative disorders, ALS has no known cure, and many treatments to slow its progression fail. Sharon Coleman is the longtime president of the ALS Society for the Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent counties. She says more residents came out to support this year's walk than any other before.
And we're just very, very grateful and fortunate that we've had the turnout that we had, and we hope that they'll keep the 3rd Sunday in September open for next year.
The ALS walk is different from other walks for 2 reasons. First, each city has their own individual walk on any day they choose. And second, most of the volunteers and participants say they started attending the walk after they lost someone to the disease. Windsor's walk was started 10 years ago by the Beatty family after they lost Mike Beatty to the disease. His wife Dawn continues to volunteer each year with their 10-year-old son Zach in hopes of one day finding a cure.
During that time when we were looking for support and things around the city that could help us, we met Sharon Coleman from the ALS Society. We didn't know anything about ALS at that time, and we had to learn about it and figure out what we needed to care for him as he progressed in the disease. So it was a pretty trying and terrible time for us.
The ALS Society currently operates out of the Hospice of Windsor. There, families of ALS patients can take part in counseling, support groups, and other activities that ease grieving and stress long after loved ones have passed. Carrie Wall says her family continues to have a very positive experience with the ALS Society years after the death of her father, Frank.
Because of his illness, he kind of had to look on from afar. He couldn't work on his cars anymore. So if the money that we raise with these walks helps some other family not have to give up something so important to them, then it's worth it.
Families of 2 Windsor men living with ALS say they were overwhelmed by the turnout and grateful for the support.
To have everybody support us, it means a lot. This disease can be very isolating, and to be here with people is wonderful.
As for her husband, Frank, he says,
"Hi, I'm happy to be here."
Though they hope to raise a lot of funds today, Sharon Coleman says as long as a few more people learn about the cause, they've reached their goal. Reporting for Mediaplex News, I'm Taylor Bush.
Let's go down to the corner of University and Victoria, where weather specialist Cassandra Malynowskij is standing by. How's the weather, Cassandra?
Well, Aaron, it's cooled down quite a bit, especially compared to yesterday. It's 13 degrees Celsius, and you can expect some partially cloudy skies coming in overnight. I'll be back with your 3-day weather report later on in the show.
Thank you, Cassandra. In today's 3 Minutes With, Kenneth Bullock spoke to Fred Francis, candidate for Ward 1, about the upcoming election.
Hello, I'm Kenneth Bullock, and today we're here with Fred Francis for 3 Minutes With. He is a candidate for Ward 1 Council. So, can you tell me a bit about your background?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today, Kenneth. I was born and raised in South Windsor. I attended Notre Dame Elementary School, then Holy Names High School. Went to Western University, graduated from the University of Windsor. That's where I did my grad work. I worked at the Multicultural Council in the local not-for-profit sector. Have some experience working within a family business environment, and now I'm the Director of Business Development for the largest auto retailer in our region, the Raffi Auto Group.
Okay. So how do you feel about your competition in this year's election?
Well, I think this year's municipal election is a healthy one. I believe there's over 50 candidates running, 10 for mayor. So I think that's good for the municipal process, for the electoral process. I certainly have a healthy respect for anyone that steps up and puts their name forward and wants to make a positive contribution for their community. So I definitely respect that.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit about your basement flooding plan?
Yes, I launched a plan about a week ago to end basement and backyard flooding. When I was going door to door in Ward 1, I heard from several residents on Dominion, on Howard, and in other parts of the ward that basement and backyard flooding was a real problem, and I wanted to come up with a plan that put an end to that, and that's what I launched the other week. What that does is allows people that wants to make preventative measures have the ability to take on loans essentially from the City of Windsor, and then to make those preventative measures to end their basement and backyard floodings. That way they're not on the hook for any costly preventative measures that they might not be able to take on themselves otherwise. So this program allows them to receive the funds necessary to take the preventative measures they need to end their backyard and basement flooding issues.
Okay. So what do you think you can do for the people of Ward 1?
Well, I'm running a campaign that puts taxpayers first and creates stronger neighborhoods. One thing I've learned over the years is that you have to stand with the taxpayers. You have to do what you can to limit the burden on the taxpayers, and that's what I intend to do. I'm going to hold the line on taxes. I'm going to look to bring further investment into Ward 1, and I'm going to look to make our community the safest, most affordable community in the city.
Okay. So what experience have you had in the political arena before this election?
Well, with respect to the political arena, I have a tremendous experience in the community. I used to work in the local not-for-profit sector, and now I work in the business sector with the Raffi Auto Group as their Director of Business Development. So that's given me a lot of experience working with a lot of community groups. I also run their Community Cares program, which is the charitable arm of the business. So I get to work with a lot of different organizations, from the United Way to the Multicultural Council to VON, and really work with a lot of community organizations at the grassroots level. With respect to political experience, this is my first time running myself, but I've worked on several campaigns in the past.
Okay. So how will being the brother of the previous mayor affect your campaign?
Well, I don't know, right? But I love my brother, and I think he's done a fantastic job as mayor, and I can only hope to do as good of a job as he has, and that's what I intend to do. The one thing that he has taught me over the years is you always have to stand with the taxpayers, and that's something, if elected, I'm fully prepared to do, and I will do as a city councilor. Stand with the taxpayers, hold the line on taxes, and work to build better communities, safer communities in Ward 1.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kenneth Bullock, and this has been 3 Minutes with Fred Francis, candidate for Ward 1.
And Kent Scottish Regiment has served Canada since 1885 and has been a part of our community since it was founded. Recently, they held a fundraising event. Dan Gray reports.
The community recently had the opportunity to participate in the 4th annual Trot with the Troops at Tilston Armories in Windsor, Ontario. Cy McGrath is the operational commander with Delta Company of the Essex and Kent Scottish Regiment.
And Trot with the Troops is a 5K, a 10K, and a 1K run for the kids. We're also doing it at the same time as the soldiers are doing their BFT.
The BFT, or Battle Fitness Test, requires a soldier to run approximately 13 kilometers with 60 pounds on their back within 2 hours and 20 minutes. Jeff Gravel is a former member of the Armed Forces and came first in the civilians' men's 5-kilometer event.
Just to support the local troops. The funds raised from donations for the race go to supporting the troops here in the local area.
According to McGrath, 100% of those funds are sent back to the Essex and Kent and used for whatever is needed at the time. At the event completion, supporters were encouraged to stay for some music and other activities provided by the regiment. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Dan Gray.
Well, the stressful life of a student athlete can be very rewarding. The St. Clair Saints softball team has experienced this firsthand. Adam Lucier has more.
Another school year has begun, which means student athletes will once again be taken to the field. For many, they have much more on their mind than sports.
2 jobs, going to school full-time, and playing varsity softball.
Ryan Desbians, the second-year shortstop for the St. Clair Saints varsity softball team, is at a perfected balancing act when it comes to her hectic schedule. She has softball 6 days a week and attends school for dental assisting, all while working 2 jobs. School maintains her #1 priority, despite having to miss classes in order to work at a dental office.
On top of my schoolwork always comes first. My teachers are very accommodating and helping me out in balancing schoolwork and practice, and they work around my schedule a lot.
The busy life of a student athlete not only affects them, but the family around them. Desbian's mother, Melissa, amidst following the schedules of her 3 daughters as well as her own, can be difficult to manage.
Well, it takes the cooperation of the entire family. It takes a big calendar on the fridge, and you always need to know where you need to be, what you need to have, and what you need to get done.
The stress of time management doesn't seem to be affecting the Saints' play, as they sit atop their division with a 10-2 record. The girls had a perfect weekend, beating the second-place Conestoga College 6-2 on Saturday, and swept Sunday's doubleheader against Mohawk College by a combined score of 24-0. The team will have to clear their packed schedule as they head to Calgary Thanksgiving weekend to take on the best college and university teams from around the country. St. Clair qualified after finishing 3rd at last year's national championship. Even to play a game without a clock, the most important skill to have is time management. For Mediaplex News, I'm Adam Lucier.
Impatient drivers could be in for a tough time. Many streets are blocked off, and a lot of parking spots have been taken away because of mass road construction. Aisha Coburn has the story.
With construction going on in the city, most citizens are upset with the current road conditions. Major streets such as Wyandotte, Paulette, and even Pulisher are being closed just to be worked on. I spoke with a municipal parking enforcement worker about this issue.
With the construction that's going on right now, it limits the amount of traffic that's allowed to be in certain areas. One thing that was brought up was Pulisher Street. With the amount of construction going on there, it makes it really hard for people to find good parking spots. Also, with that construction going on, there's a lot of people who are speeding. A lot of people are not adjusting their speeds to the construction zone when there are construction workers present.
As you can see, construction can be very tedious. But what about when you're not just driving, but you're waiting for the bus? Well, transit takers not only have to just wait for their bus to arrive, but now the construction is doubling their commute time.
The construction in Windsor has affected me. The 1-block walk to the bus stop has now become 4 or 5 blocks. So basically, when it only used to take me 2 minutes to get to the bus stop, it's now taking 10, and half the time the bus goes right down Riverside instead of Wyandotte, and I usually end up missing it. So I have to catch the one before that in order to kind of compensate for that.
This is Aisha Coburn reporting for Mediaplex News Now.
So the need for blood donations never seemed to go away. As Lynette Tabor reports, this time of year is no exception.
Often
Often at this time of year, there's a shortage of blood. So St. Clair College is hosting a blood donor clinic in partnership with the Canadian Blood Services. Maureen McFarland is the territory manager of the Canadian Blood Services. She is encouraging students to come out and donate blood because of the current blood shortage.
You know what, we like to come out to all the post-secondary education institutions, so we like to come out to St. Clair College. We're here 4 times a year, and you know, we need blood. Our inventory is the lowest it's been in 5 years, so we're really asking Canadians to come out and donate blood and help us with our inventory levels.
Approximately every minute of every day, someone in Canada needs blood. According to a recent poll, 52% of Canadians say they or a family member have needed blood or blood products for surgery or medical treatment. The Canadian Blood Services comes to St. Clair College and hosts a blood drive 4 times a year. Approximately 1 pint of blood is collected during a donation and can save up to 3 lives. Sarah Lamoureux is also a St. Clair College student and is in the Personal Support Worker program.
I wanted to give blood because I know it's helping so many people. It helps about 3 at a time. And in the past, my grandma had to have blood fusions, and I know she needed them, so I know I'm helping others.
To find out more about blood donation, visit blood.ca. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Lynette Tabor.
In this week's edition of Health Minute, it's time to break out the gym clothes because I'm going to give you a few helpful workout tips. Howdy folks, this is Aaron Sanders for your Mediaplex Health Minute. Now let's begin by addressing the people who are just starting a workout routine. Tip number 1, a major one, stretch out before your workout. You want to be as loose as you can. Tip number 2, since the little things matter the most, start off small. Gaining muscle is a progress, so start at the low weights. When you feel confident to move to the slightly bigger weights, go for it. Finally, tip number 3. After a tough workout, there's nothing more refreshing than a little R&R, rest and relaxation. Rest your body and muscles for the next day. Now, a brutal workout back-to-back is strenuous to the body and can cause body stress. Remember, the muscles need time for recovery, so a day off is recommended. Incidentally, there are many ways to work out. However, one key note should be noted. To reiterate, working out is a work of progress. You start small, you work your way on up for big results. The progress relies on you. I'm Aaron Sanders for your Mediaplex Health Minute. Good day and good health. On this edition of 3 Minutes With, Melissa Fregapin sat down with Miss Via Italia, Tina Bonotto.
Hello, I'm Melissa Fregapin, and we are spending 3 minutes with 19-year-old Tina Bonotto, who was crowned Miss Via Italia this summer. So Tina, how long have you been doing pageants and why did you start?
Well, the Miss Via Italia pageant was my first pageant. It was in June. And it's kind of a weird story how I started. One of my friends, she decided to do the pageant. She was like, come on, Tina, like, let's do it together. Like, it'll be a lot of fun. So I was like really contemplating it, but I'm really glad I decided to take the opportunity and do the Miss Via Italia pageant because I had so much fun. It was such a great experience meeting all the new girls and everything. It was a blast.
What sorts of things did you have to do to become candidate to run?
There's not really anything specific that you had to do to be a candidate to run, but we did practice quite a bit during the summer. It was a lot of fun, you know, walking around, doing the routines, and just like learning like how to pose and a lot of stuff like that, which was very cool.
So who helped you prepare for this?
Chelsea DeRoche helped a lot with the practices. She is an experienced pageant queen. She is amazing. She was such a great help, such an inspiration for all of us girls just to become like, she just wanted like one day and win a whole bunch of pageants and have inner beauty like she does.
So what sorts of responsibilities do you have now?
The responsibilities kind of vary. You take it upon yourself. There's a lot of events that you can attend for volunteer experience, such as I attended the car show at the Kubota Club, I did the bike races on Erie Street, and I helped with the Top Guns for Kids fundraiser with cancer. And it was a lot of fun just being around people and like the little kids especially because they come up to you and you're like, oh, like look, it's a princess. And they're just so sweet and they want to touch your crown and they just want to be with you and hold your hand, and it's just very adorable just to see how they look up to you and how you're a role model to them.
So being Miss Via Italia, are you actually Italian?
I am Italian. You did have to be Italian to join the pageant.
And can you speak any Italian whatsoever?
I cannot, unfortunately. No. I wish I could.
So how long does your term as Miss Via Italia last?
It lasts 1 year, and then so next year in June, I have to go and give away my crown to the next Miss Via Italia 2015 in that case.
So do you plan on running again next year, or are you going for a different category or anything like that?
Well, in the Miss Via Italia pageant, once you win the title once, it's kind of like a done deal. You can't really go and do that pageant again.
Oh.
So I was looking at doing the Miss Tecumseh pageant and maybe the prelims for Miss Universe Canada. Those are in April, so we'll see if you see me there or not.
Well, thank you very much. This has been your 3 Minutes With. I'm Melissa Fregapant, and you have been joined with Tina Venado.
The new sports facility at St. Clair College has already been a positive influence on students. Shelby Hernandez tells us more.
It's been a little over 2 weeks since the Sportsplex had its official grand opening, and so far, students and faculty at St. Clair College see it as a slam dunk. Within the Sportsplex, there are many different features, such as an elevated walking track, a gym, a 10,000 square foot fitness center, workout studios, 12 team rooms, and classrooms. There are also fitness classes, which include spinning classes, yoga classes, and different boot camp classes, along with many others. Ted Beal is an athletic coordinator at St. Clair College. Beal says since the Sportsplex has opened, it has increased the number of people who have tried out for the varsity teams. He says the new Sportsplex is a valuable resource for varsity sports, but is also useful for those who don't participate in varsity sports. The Sportsplex will be hosting the OCAA Men's Volleyball Provincial Championships in early 2015. For Mediaplex News, I'm Shelby Hernandez.
All right, let's go back outside and see what we have in store weather-wise for the next few days. Cassandra?
Did you know that at any particular time there are approximately 1,800 thunderstorms occurring in the Earth's atmosphere? Well, not tonight. So let's bring it back to our 3-day weather report. Wednesday will be partially cloudy with a high of 20 and a low of 11. Thursday will be sunny skies with a high of 20 and a low of 11. Friday will be rainy with a high of 20 and a low of 10, so make sure to grab an umbrella. With that being said, fall has finally arrived, so make sure to grab a sweater. That's it for your weather report at the corner of Victoria and University. Back to you, Aaron.
Interesting information. Thank you, Cassandra. Now, where is everybody going? As Sean Frame reports, more people are leaving town than ever before.
It is no secret Windsor's population has decreased in the past 6 years. According to a publication made last year by the Conference Board of Canada, Windsor ranked the second lowest in population growth in the country. With the municipal election on the horizon, many candidates have put job creation and tourism on the forefront of their campaigns. Mayoral candidate Larry Horowitz says he believes job creation and quality of life is the next step in economic growth.
The young people, and my kids are going to be included in this, are leaving Windsor. They're setting up their lives in Calgary and on the East Coast, and they're not coming back. They're going to have families there, and they're not coming back.
Why Not Windsor Essex is a Trillium-funded group that encourages young people to be a part of the community. The group promotes the youth by making connections with local decision makers. Dan Brown is the coordinator of the Why Not campaign and explains how employment is a factor in population.
The biggest reason people leave is employment and career opportunities and jobs. It's definitely not the only reason, but it's the biggest one. So in a city that was hit probably the hardest by the recession and manufacturing and automotive economy, people, when their jobs disappear, so do they.
Windsor's population growth from 2008 to 2012 averaged about negative 0.1. In correlation with the population growth, Windsor has the second highest unemployment rate in the country. I'm Sean Frame, Mediaplex News Now.
So is Slim Shady stepping up again? Well, Miller Hill has that and more in today's Music Minute.
Today on Music Minute, I'm going to give you the scoop on upcoming album releases in the industry. We will also take a look at shows and events happening in the Windsor area. To start us off, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Eminem and Shady Records are set to release a new album on November 28th in celebration of the label's 15th anniversary. For those interested, check out Eminem's newest single, Guts Over Fear, which will be featured on the album. For more info on that, visit www.eminem.com. New albums from Weezer, Taylor Swift, Lil Wayne, Foo Fighters, and many more are expected in the next couple of months. Dates can be found on the artists' websites. This weekend, Windsor's Artists, Visions, Energies, and Sculptures event will be held at Windsor Sculpture Garden Friday and Saturday starting at 4 o'clock. Musical performances and installations of art and technology will be available to the public. Local band Thick as Thieves started out busking on the corner of Olette and University Avenue, and they are now making their way into venues. This Friday, catch the Busker Punk Band at Venue Music Hall. Boom Boom Room is celebrating its 9th anniversary with a live performance from rapper Waka Flocka Flame on October 23rd. Tickets are available at boomboomroom.ca. I'm Miller Hill, and this has been your Music Minute.
It's never too soon to start thinking about your college choices for next year. Consider the Mediaplex for your future.
Journalism enables people to be well informed. It's documenting history. It's an extraordinary way for people to be connected with their community.
What happens in the world affects us. What happens in our community affects us. What happens in the province affects us. And we get to be the eyes and ears and tell the stories. There are many stories that need to be told, and those things add value to our life.
I'm always meeting new people. I'm learning about things that interest me, like topics that I want to learn more about.
It's neat to know that so many people are relying on me. It makes you strive for perfection, or makes you strive for accuracy.
The journalism program here at St. Clair College is a convergence journalism program. Convergence means the merging together of print, radio, and television, and the web, and putting all different stories into 3 or 4 different platforms.
In 21st century newsrooms, journalists have to be able to do it all.
We ask every one of our reporters to tell stories in multiple ways.
There's a different style of writing for print than there is for radio, than there is for television. And it's really important that the information gets out that is true to those platforms.
We are one of the few, if not the only, program that is actually taking students to a live broadcast and giving them that opportunity and that experience.
I've gained a lot of self-confidence. I used to be a really nervous person, a really shy person, but I think this program's helped me come out my shell. It's given me something that I love to do, and that's made me a better person.
I find that the students that come out of St. Clair College are already at or above where some of our broadcast employees have been over the last several years.
I feel that I made the greatest decision I could 2 years ago by choosing this program, because I have learned so much, and I think that I can only grow from here.
I would hands down recommend the program to someone considering it. I would recommend it to someone that's not even considering it. They teach you such a vast array of different skills, different platforms, different things that you could really apply to so many different careers.
Based on literally hundreds of interns I've seen over the years, St. Clair students are better prepared to go into the work environment in media than most students coming out of colleges and universities across North America.
I think it's that very comprehensive curriculum that we have that creates converged journalists that sets this journalism school apart.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaron Sanders, and this has been Mediaplex News Now.
Mediaplex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism program.